Welcome back, everybody. I'm getting educated, shall I say, on some little pests that we might see this time of year. I'm joined by Exterminators Service Center Manager Ben Talent, here to share with us his tips for keeping our homes pest-free during the holidays. And so we know things like decorations and of course, baking and parties might invite some unwanted pests, but what do you see in terms of an increase this time of year?
Usually it's your rodents with mice, roaches and ants, and stored product pests as well.
And I've got to ask, because of all the rain that we've seen, all the wet conditions outside, will we see an increase in roaches trying to get shelter from the rain as well?
Yes, ma'am, more than likely, because they're just like us. They don't want too much water, so especially homes that are in lower lying areas, then yes, they're going to retreat inside to get out of the water, just like we would. So.
Okay, and then we know that people have been bringing in live trees, and they may still be getting them. What do you suggest? Because we've heard that they may have some pests in those branches.
Yes, sure. If you're cutting a live tree, just make sure before you take it in the house, give it a good shake. Just a quick inspection. Same thing with your, maybe it's an artificial tree, and bringing those decorations in from the shop outside the home, or if they're stored up in the attic, just taking them outside first, giving them a good shake, make sure that nothing unwanted has gotten into those decorations before bringing them inside. Now,
you were educating me on, let's see, what are these called? Hold on. Indian meal moths.
Yes.
And merchant grain beetles. This has to do with cooking, being in the kitchen, and
stored product
pests.
Yes, ma'am. Most of the time you probably won't notice them, but a lot of times you'll have little flying moths. Sometimes they'll be up in the corners of the pantry, or they'll have a little sack there, a little silk sack there. And what has happened is if you leave those dried goods unsealed, they're not sealed very well, then they'll emerge from that. So making sure when you go to the grocery store, making sure that you get something that's sealed good, making sure it's still airtight, and when you get it home, making sure to put it back in something that's airtight to keep that from happening.
Make sure everything is airtight.
Yes, ma'am.
While we're doing all of our baking.
That's right.
All of my viewers are out there laughing at me right now about that part. But anyway, any final thoughts on treating pests this time of year and keeping our homes pest free?
Yes, just keeping your eyes out for that, making sure when you are cooking and doing those things, just to clean up behind yourself, because a lot of times we're good at procrastinating. I'll get it later, but just go ahead and cleaning up those spills. Firewood's another good one, keeping the firewood off the ground and away from the home, and inspecting it before you bring it in, so you don't bring any uninvited guests in that way as well.
And those ants also find their way into the kitchen and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good to see you, and Merry Christmas.